Hi, and welcome back to Continual and our series of holiday specials. And tonight we are going to be talking about those fun holiday specials from TV. And so I'm your host, Jim Nettles. And so before we get started, let's go around the room and have everybody introduce themselves. So, Misty, I'm going to start with you.
Ooh, how exciting. I am Misty Massey. I am the author of the Mad Kestrel series of rollicking adventures of fantasy on the high seas. I am a copy editor for Falstaff Books. I am an acquisitions editor for Lore Seekers Press. And when I am not writing or recording fabulous podcasts for Continual, I play Malibu on the Authors and Dragons sister D&D podcast, Calamity Janes. You can find us on iTunes and Spotify and all the places you find podcasts. Just look for the Authors and Dragons Calamity Janes and you can listen to our adventures.
Jenny?
Hi, I'm Gini Koch. I write the Alien Catherine Kitty Cat series for Dog Books, and I write under a wide variety of pen names and in all lengths and genres.
And Lola.
My name's Lola Lariscy, and I wrote and published a book called Trudy Lim's Spaceship Captain, Earth Detective. I don't want to spoil it, but it's about a spaceship captain who's also an Earth detective. I know. Been working on my second book for a long time. One day I'll finish it. I don't know what's wrong with me. The doctors gave up. They just said, nope, stop taking my money, surprisingly. Yeah, other than that, happy to be here.
So tonight we're talking about those fun holiday specials, and I know what Jenny's response is going to be to this question, but I can't resist it anyway. So, to get the big fun one off the table, because I can, and I just like to look to see the look of shock and horror on everybody's faces, is one of my personal favorite holiday specials. And this is, of course, the Star Wars holiday special.
That I have avoided watching for my entire life. And I'm proud of holding on to that. No, it's not going to be possible.
I got you, Jenny. I'm with you. I've never seen it either.
All right. Hey, solidarity. Yeah, you've got two of us you have to try to fool.
Oh, great. And so, in other words, what I'm gonna have to do is like cut some scenes into this episode. All right, now I know what I have to do. So let's kind of go around. Let's talk about, from especially sci-fi fantasy TV shows, kind of what are your favorite sort of episodes? I mean, we've got a lot of ones to pull from, be it the Doctor Who, I've always got my personal favorites from Futurama with their different ones. We can stretch into The Simpsons. We can go, of course, all sorts of different ways. But what's everybody's kind of favorite episode? And so, Misty, I'll start with you on that one.
Okay. Well, when the topic was suggested to me, the first one that leaped into my head is probably one of my very favorites. It's the X-Files episode, How the Ghost Stole Christmas. And if you're not, okay, I see thumbs going up. Yeah, for people who haven't seen it, Mulder and Scully go out to a haunted house in Maryland on Christmas Eve, which is totally not what Scully wants to do, but she goes because Mulder says come, and so she comes to help him. And they end up spending the evening being tortured by two ghosts who really don't see that the wholesomeness and love and joy of Christmas is fun, but rather torturing people and making them suffer in more of a Halloween way is what they find charming. So once a year they appear on Christmas Eve and torture whoever happens to show up in the house, and it was hilarious.
Ed Asner and
Lily Tomlin.
Lily Tomlin. I always went blank. I love to watch that one every time it comes on. Pull it up. I haven't watched it in a couple of years. So it's about time again. But yeah, I always love to watch that one.
It's great.
I thought it was loving and touching and really warm and cheerful.
It is. At the end when they're holding hands,
Mm-hmm.
And the ghosts I'm talking about, not Mulder and Scully, although I think they end up holding hands too. But
and being a poltergeist is on my bucket list. So anyway, Jenny.
Okay, I'm going to defend this show as being in our general fandom because I have been to its several panels at San Diego Comic-Con. And so my favorite Christmas episodes come from Psych. And I think, we take the fantasy that Sean is it's basically a Holmes and Watson setup, but Sean's a charlatan who's hyper observant, and Gus is he's a medical supply sales rep, so he knows everything that Sean needs, and he has all these interests. But I love this show. It's probably, my husband and I, is probably our favorite show together. And they do a fabulous riff on It's a Wonderful Life. And it's just hilarious. It's like the highlight for me. Try to make sure we watch it every Christmas. So I'm going to stand on, they have giant panels at San Diego Comic-Con when that show is running. So it fits.
I'll allow it. Fine. Lola.
I mean, it's not believable. It's not believable. It's speculative. Like, you think someone could really get away with it. So yeah.
And I think Gus really likes science fiction, if I remember correctly.
He does. He's huge into Harry Potter.
So,
yeah, and Sean, they do all this sort of weird mystical stuff. I mean, it's a hilarious show. So
I claim it. And they have a new movie coming out soon.
I know, it comes out Thursday. I'm so excited.
Oh, I'm off Thursday. That's perfect. I'm going to spend the whole day.
Yeah.
All right. So my pick, I stood in front of my DVDs and I found a DVD for Eureka. Eureka was one of my favorite shows back in the day. I loved that dang show. And I can't believe it's been almost 10 years since it ended. Wow. So they had a Christmas show called Do You See What I See? And the premise is that the entire town becomes animated. And not only is it animated, they switch styles. They've got every style. I mean, it starts out with like the video game style, then it goes to more general, like Flintstone style, and then it switched through all the styles for all the different TV shows you could think of. And then it goes, my favorite, the claymation. Just like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. It spends like half the episode in claymation. I'm like, and it's all Christmassy. It's got, Christmas trees and everything. And Sninja. I'll let y'all think about what that might be. A giant Sninja. And it was just so cool. I rewatched it before the panel, and I hadn't seen a Eureka episode in so long. It just felt like Christmas just being in that world again. I love that world.
Well, for me, I am the huge fan of Futurama because to me, they blend so many things so well. And it's kind of hard to pick which one of the three episodes. But, when you look at the 3 holiday episodes that they did, having Santa as the giant robot that's going to kill and wipe out everybody who is out on Halloween night, on Christmas Eve and Christmas night, I'm like, can I be an elf? I'm happy to just be an elf. So yeah, I am a huge fan of all the Futurama shows, but the holiday episodes were always just so much fun and did a really good job of sort of twisting all the stuff that we see and do. So all of us here are of a certain age. We're not teenagers anymore. So going back and remembering, and since we were just talking about some of like the claymation ones and the animation specials and the things that, you waited all year long for, going, here they're coming. Mine is the Grinch, of course. I realize this is a shock.
No, Grinch all the way. Grinch all the way.
And again, the first 2/3 of the Grinch is fabulous. And then you have to stop at that point. You just imagine he pushed the sleigh over the edge. But anyway, it's that heart trying to grow too many sizes. But when you think about some of the classics we grew up with, what are some of the animated ones you remember that really kind of still pull to you today? You can't turn down but to watch them. So Jenny, I'm going to start with you on that one.
For me, it really is the Grinch. But I want to talk about Rudolph, because even as a little kid, I resented how everybody treated Rudolph. And I resented the fact that Santa only shows up to help when Rudolph is useful. And it's such an interesting story that we're taught that this is, basically suffer till you're useful and then everybody likes you. Rudolph is bullied his whole life. I mean, it's just, and and then you've got all the jolly little songs, and the little elf guy who's also bullied. It's like two people being bullied together who get to band together, but it's a really, as an adult, it's a really weird, warped message that thing is sending out. Whereas I don't think the Grinch's message is warped at all. The Grinch's message is very, very clear, and it's very lovely and it's loving. Whereas Rudolph is like, hey, all you kids who are being bullied, one day you'll be useful to somebody, and then they won't bully you so much. Yeah. It's like, I mean, I guess that's true. It's not the way I want the world to be. So I just like can't go back and watch it anymore. I have fond memories of watching it, but even as a kid,
I firmly believe this is why we have social media these days, is all those kids, they're the developers that built Twitter. Yes. So Lola, what about you?
Well, of course, a claymation, but a Charlie Brown Christmas. Yeah, every year. I love them. Linus, Charlie Brown, Patty, the whole gang. It was a staple at Christmas time.
And you got your blanket with you, so we'll just go ahead
I've got my Linus blanket. It's cold. It's like 60 degrees. It's 64 degrees.
Wow.
It's cold. I know. It's cold.
Yeah, it's less than that here, so yeah, it's cold.
Oh, I got a fire too.
What about you, Misty?
Mine is, I love the Grinch. I even won a dog that I had years ago. I named Max precisely the character from the Grinch. So the Grinch and I were like this, but since you've already done the Grinch, I love The Year Without a Santa Claus because of Snow Miser and Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Heat Miser, I'm Mr. Sun. Remember those?
Yes.
And Mrs. Claus having to shake her finger, and Mother Nature finally having to come in and put her foot down so her boys would behave themselves and stop ruining Christmas. I love that one. So
Rankin Bass really owned those.
They really did.
Airwaves. Yeah. Yeah,
and
they have a lot to answer for.
And you don't get to see them the same way you used to, because I remember, like you were saying, when we were little, there was a specific time when those shows came on, and you were home and waiting in front of the TV. And now, if they run them, it's either on a streaming service or just randomly. That it's not the must-see television that it used to be.
Yeah. Running Rudolph at 2 a.m. on, it's like, what child is going to see this?
No, that's for everybody that's coming in from having been out at holiday parties all night.
For the comfort of seeing Rudolph be bullied, I guess, if you didn't have a good time. So, yeah. So, I'm definitely on the team Rudolph. So
what about if we come forward a few more years and look at some of like the holiday specials that we're seeing some really, I think, interesting, good adaptations now as well. Things like Shrek and the Shrek holiday specials that they did for the, have you not seen this one? Yes, they did that.
Your entire panel just looked at you like, huh? Well, blank. Everybody's getting that. Oh, yes, please keep talking. We have no idea.
We have no idea.
We have no idea. We were, the shows we mentioned, we've been watching those. We haven't been watching that.
I think I had to sit through the Shrek one year to see the one I wanted to see. But but it actually, and it's been a couple of years since I've watched it either, but it was a fun one. And of course, you've got Mike Myers, you've got Eddie Murphy, you've got all the voices coming through to do kind of that classically fun sort of holiday special. It sort of twists the tropes, but it really is back in that Shrek world. So are there any other, more current TV shows that you've got, whether it's the animated or not, any of those that really are speaking to you now, that speak to you more now as an adult in terms of holiday shows and things like that?
We've been my husband and I never saw Warehouse 13. My mother-in-law did, so we're re-watching it. And we just hit their holiday special, which came in I think it's season 2, and it's really hits in an odd spot. It's like the season ender is the team splitting up, and then the next thing is we're all happy. So once you get past that juxtaposition of what the heck, it was really good. It's funny. I remember we just watched it not that long ago, and I don't remember anything that happened in it. I just remember thinking it was warm and fuzzy, and I enjoyed it. But I couldn't give you a specific on any of it. And I think it's because for so much of that episode, we kept going, but she left. But no, there was a cliffhanger. No. Oh no, it just took us too long to adjust to this is a holiday episode that it just sort of tacked on to the end of this season. But that was I just it gave me a good warm fuzzy feeling, which I think they're supposed to. So Warehouse 13, yay. That's not new, but it's one of the newer ones we've watched. So that counts in my book, just like Psych.
Well, we're getting closer.
Yeah. It's in the right.
At least, yeah, exactly. It's fantasy. So
it's in the genre. It's in the genre. Yeah.
I was going to say mine. I've only seen the first movie. The second one came out last year, and I guess I'm saving it for this Christmas. But the Christmas Chronicles on Netflix, and
that's the one with
Kurt Russell.
Oh my God, those are so good!
They're hilarious.
The second one's really good. Yeah,
it's like if Snake Plissken became Santa Claus.
Yes. You haven't seen the second. The second is really, really good.
No.
Oh, it doesn't disappoint, and I was worried that it was really going to disappoint, but it doesn't. It's really good.
Cool.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
I don't think we saw it. I'm pretty sure that I didn't see it the second one come around, but if I did, then when I watch it, I'll go, oh yeah. But it'll still be fun.
Exactly.
Because it's still
no, I love those. Yes, and Goldie Hawn.
And Goldie Hawn. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but I loved that. I thought it was funny. So.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. Those are adorable.
What about you, Lola?
I'll take a different track. I watch Hallmark Christmas movies. Just get your laughing out right now. It's fine. But
those are all fantasy. No,
I know they're all fantasy. You have to watch them like that because nothing happens that way. But they had one just recently, like I think maybe a week ago, not even that, called Next Stop Christmas. It had Leah Thompson and Christopher Lloyd, and I was all over that. Oh my God, I was tweeting that up a storm and tagging all of them, and oh, it's so exciting. But it was sci-fi because it was about going back in time, which, oh my God, Back to the Future, going back in time. Girl goes, she's a surgeon, and her life is one way. Then she gets on the train to go back to Connecticut, and she ends up. Christopher Lloyd is the train person who sits there and talks to her, and she ends up getting off the train, and it's 10 years in the past, and she can't get back to the future. They didn't say that, but I thought it. They can't get back to the future until she figures out what she needs to change to make her life more fulfilling. So that just made me so happy that I just wanted to cry. I think I did cry a few times.
We go home to my parents' house every Christmas, at least by Christmas Eve, if not a day earlier or so. And my dad loves the Hallmark Christmas movies, and that is all he plays the whole time, all through all of the Christmas vacation, is those Hallmark movies, and we'll sit and watch them because whatever.
It's
Christmas,
warm and fuzzy.
They're fun.
Some are better than others. Some are better than others. I mean, some are really clever and really good. Some of them suck. So,
but I would say they definitely count as genre because they are total fantasy. Because I live in this house that anywhere else would sell for $750,000. But I inherited it from my father, and it's in perfect updated condition. And I work in a gift shop selling towels that I paint by hand.
or my favorite, I even called them out on Twitter because it was so ridiculous. Recently, they had one. The woman wanted to move to New York to be a writer. She hadn't written a word yet. much less
Right.
published anything. And she was giving up her job, so she wasn't going to have a job there. And
Right. Because you can last in New York with no money for about 5
There's
whole
a
minutes.
fantasy.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, and yeah, I put something on Twitter, and I think I said, okay, I can't hold back anymore. I have to say it. How is she going to live in New York with no job? So, and a lot of people agreed with me.
Yeah.
I don't like
I think that's ridiculous. It's just the whole like your Back to the Future one. God forbid you be a surgeon saving people's lives. How could that ever possibly be fulfilling? You probably really need to go back and realize you need a boy. Yeah, right?
I did like, because these movies, they take different turns. Some of them are really derogatory towards women, but at least this one, when she got back to the future, she was still a surgeon.
Oh, well, there's that.
Good. Okay.
That's a win.
Yeah,
that's a win.
Because some of them would have her go back and realize she needed a husband and she doesn't need to be a surgeon anymore. But they didn't do that. She was still a surgeon.
Yeah, don't save anybody's life. It's so much better if you make somebody else pancake.
Right. So, and she even had a line. She was like, please don't make me go through med school again. Because that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, that poor girl, she's got to go through med school again. So this one was definitely one of the better, more thoughtfully written ones.
Right. Well, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so
we derailed you, Jen. We apologize.
Oh, no. So I'm going to throw this one out there because I know that it's, this one might not land as flat. So what about your favorite Doctor Who Christmas episode? Because I mean,
it's really flat for me.
All right, Jenny, you're banned. You're gone.
I don't want to. You're all allowed to love it and tell me all about your favorite episode that I will never, ever, ever watch. So go for it. I'll just sit here and applaud. Golf clapping.
Well, because I really have always loved the different Doctor Who Christmas episodes, especially considering a lot of the time that's that transitional episode. It's it's one of the ones that comes in. But it's really because one of my favorites is Unquiet Dead, when that one came back out. And, it really felt like that crossover between the reboot and the Tom Baker years. And it was set in late 1860s, and it was it was towards the end of Rose's period there, and very Dickensian, but it was a lot of a fun episode. So now that Jenny is out of the way, so Misty,
I'm out of the way.
I'm actually looking at the list to try and decide. I think that the one I liked the best was probably the first one, the Christmas Invasion, which is Rose and Mickey are out shopping, and they're attacked by the Santa robots, and that's when Harriet Jones shows up. You remember Harriet Jones, and the whole "Don't you think she looks tired?" And so I think that one's probably my favorite. So it's unfortunately I haven't seen all of them because, like so many of us, I am not bound to the cable anymore, and so I don't have access to the most recent Doctor Who. I probably should get BBC America, but I don't know. Anyway, but of the ones I've seen, that's probably my favorite. So,
what about you, Lola?
Okay, so I'm not going to talk so much about the episode because what really stands out to me is the singer. There was a Christmas Carol, which was the 2010 Doctor Who episode, and it has a singer I'd never heard of. Her name is Katherine Jenkins. She has an absolutely incredible voice. She's a trained operatic singer.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the scene with her is so beautiful, and I just fell in love. I mean, I fell back in my chair, oh my God. And so now I bought all her CDs for my mom, and my mom was like, whatever. So I've got all the CDs. And now when it gets to be Christmas time, which it is now, it's Christmas time, I'm like, Alexa, play Katherine Jenkins Christmas music. And I'm like, She has a gorgeous voice. Oh, so good. She does classical Italian, And then, you know, pop covers, just absolutely wonderful. I will sing her praises 100% every day for the rest of my life. Maybe not every day, but most days, at least once a week.
So now looking at TV, what are kind of the favorite holiday tropes you guys love to see come up every time? Yeah, it will suck you in every time. You know exactly what's coming, you know how it's going to end, but it's still the holiday trope you love. So, Misty, I'm going to throw this one at you.
Okay. In real life, I hate snow. I hate it when they predict it. My head starts to hurt and I want to cry because it's just going to be, I live in the South. And so it's just going to be a pain. And I just don't want to see it. And I don't want to be stuck in the house. And I hate how it looks after the 5 minutes it's pretty, then it starts melting and it's ugly. With that said, I absolutely love an episode of anything where suddenly at the end, it's snowing. I'll start crying every single time. So fictional snow is beautiful. I love fictional snow for Christmas. So
What about you, Jenny?
The It's a Wonderful Life tropes. They get me every single solitary time. I know exactly the lessons that are going to be learned, and I don't care. I want to go on that ride and see. I like the what if of it. I think the what if of it is very cool in that sliding doors manner, but I really, really like that. And as an offshoot, the few that do the Groundhog Day kind of thing. I really like all of those kind of scenarios. So they'll get me in holidays, and they'll get me in anything else too. So they're very predictable and I don't care.
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. You get to see that thing of when they play what if with the characters you already know. And I think that to me is the big fun part of those.
I love
so
it. Yeah.
What's your favorite episode that pulled that out or pulled that hat trick?
Oh, well, absolutely always Psych. What if It's a Wonderful Life episode was somewhere in the middle of the show's run, and all of their seasonal episodes, all of their holiday episodes are always great. They start playing around with the credits and they jingle up the song or whatever. But this one was really good because what Sean's id is, and now I'm going to forget this actor's name. He's
Did he play Sean? Or
no. He's basically playing Sean's id, and I can't remember his name. It'll come to me anyway. So during this, Sean's like, well, see, this is what had happened, and he's like, no way, man, this is your projection. Why do you think you made me like this? Why do you think? Oh, he was in Bad Santa, not Billy Bob Thornton, his elf chick, his elf henchman or sidekick. Yes. Okay. Yes. Why can't I remember this guy's name? I remembered this guy's name right up until this moment.
You're welcome.
Anyway, yeah, Tony. I think it's Tony.
You're right. But anyway, go ahead.
Right. Okay. So anyhow, but he's like, man, I'm just your id. This is just what you think would happen. This isn't necessarily what's real. This is your imagination telling you this is what would happen. Your dad be sitting there crying into his cornflakes, right? That kind of stuff. So I really liked that twist on it, because most of the It's a Wonderful Life ones, it's like, see what would have happened and everything else. And this is just this guy saying, you're so full of it, Sean. Okay. This is what you think, but just so you know, you're full of it. And Sean is. And so I thought it was very, very well done and very much in keeping with the tone of the show. So that's still my favorite.
So Lola, what's your trope?
The big choir singing. And with the Hallmark movie that I was talking about, where she was going to go to New York with no money. She was a writer, but she was also a singer and choir director. She had it all going. So they did like a real kind of R&B type version of, I think it was Gloria, and they had everybody was like, and just really cool. It's just really like modern version of it. And I was like, I love that.
So I'm going to guess that's your current favorite version of that?
Yeah. I should see if they actually have those songs available. Sometimes they do, because they were really good.
So now I'm going to flip this the other way, and I'm going to start with you this time, Lola. What is the big trope that you see all over the place every holiday that you look at and roll your eyes?
Oh, the Ebenezer Scrooge Christmas Carol, the Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Present Future, Ghost of Present going around the corner, whatever. But back to Hallmark, they did do a cute version of it this year where it was Ghost of Boyfriends Past. And so it was all her boyfriends telling her what she was doing wrong, and always the girl's doing something wrong, but yeah.
Right.
But
It's never that.
it's never the man,
Never.
but yeah, she's pushing people away, and they're trying to help her because she finally met someone who's really good for her. And so that was whimsical, cool, and cute. So I like that. But most of the time when they do that, I'm like, oh my God, get a new storyline. It was good the one time it was done, and that was like 150 years ago. Get a new story.
What about you, Misty?
Jenny, please don't beat me, but I really hate the whole Wonderful Life trope.
You're allowed. I don't like Doctor Who, and you're allowed to like it. You're allowed to hate the thing I like. It's okay.
I just I get tired of it because it seems like people want to do it over and over. And so, like Lola was saying, try some other storyline. And I think it's because I don't like it that I see so much of it. Because if I didn't care, then I probably wouldn't notice. But since I don't care for it, then it's everywhere. But that's mine. So.
And I actually like I like the whole Scrooge. I'm a giant Dickens fangirl anyway, but I like the whole Scrooge thing too. So I mean, that's the nice thing, is that we're all allowed to like other stuff. I really go right back to what I mentioned earlier, which is Rudolph. Anything where somebody is basically bullied and treated like dirt, but you've got this one magical thing that can help us make Christmas wonderful, and now we like you. I hate that. And it's not as common, but it's still there, and I just loathe it because its message to me is as detrimental as the Hallmark messages. But I don't think people are taking the Hallmark movies as seriously as they are. And most of the ones where it's like somebody's bullied, and then they have this one thing that makes them important for a day. I think we shove kids in front of that constantly, so that your lesson, your message is that, well, as long as you're occasionally useful to the cool kids, or to the important people, well, then you have value. But you have no value unless you have that importance.
And it has to be useful. You can't.
Yes, I just loathe that. No, God forbid, you can't be you. You can't be different. Different is bad. Okay,
what
different is shameful. Different is bad. Yeah, different is shameful. Different is bad. Right up until you can help the greater good group, and then yay! And then tomorrow for the next 364 days, you're still going to be bullied again. And I loathe those. I think the message is evil, and I just hate that we shove children right in front of those. Like, learn this. The other tropes, at least they're making you think back on your mistakes, or how things could be, or whatever. But that trope just,
I can absolutely agree with that. Because as somebody who was bullied as a child, and so many of the adults in my life, not necessarily my parents, but teachers and principals and guidance counselors and all that, would always say, just wait until you're older and they'll see your value. No, I don't want them to see my value when I'm older.
I want them to stop picking on me right now. Yeah. Right. No, with that answer, to me, what that answer always was, well, we aren't going to do anything about it because we're uninterested and incapable. So good luck to you. Yep. We don't care. Good luck. Bye. You're not Norm. So ta-ta. Right. But yeah. Exactly. So. And then you watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and that is completely 100% confirmed. And so you try to figure out, where does my nose glow? Where do I get a glowing nose, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is that glowing, and do I need to see a doctor?
I know. Maybe I'm secretly really talented at basketball. No. Yeah.
No.
Maybe I should try it for the drill team. No, that didn't work out at
No.
all.
Yeah. No.
So now we're going to play with a fun little exercise because, well, you know, it's me. So if you could take any one TV show, something you've always loved, you always watch, and told the holiday story for them, what's your holiday story and what's the show? And you can't use psych.
You might have to repeat that.
No, I've got it. I can roll.
All right, Jenny, go for it.
Rudolph kicks some serious ass, goes and makes friends with all the snow monsters. They come back through and wipe out the rest of his nasty little tribe, and he goes off to the big city and becomes a success, or something along those lines. The older I get, the more I loathe the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer story. And I can retell that, like, you know, in various degrees of, okay, maybe he doesn't kill everybody, but he takes over. He goes and makes friends with bigger, stronger creatures who don't have the, oh, you've got a glowy nose prejudice, and comes back and kicks ass. That to me that's the way I want to rewrite that. Hey, are you different? Awesome. Go find cool people who think your differences are great, and then come back and overwhelm all the people who didn't care about you and treated you like dirt. And that includes you, Santa. So I think Santa does not come off well in that. Santa comes off as a typical jerk, Well, get rid of that kid. Oh, wait, he's useful. Let's bring him in, right? Yeah. So I'll rewrite Rudolph till the cows come home.
Yeah. So South Park, give Jenny her writing credit and a check. And all right, who wants to take that one next?
All right, I'll rewrite all the Hallmark movies because I think about this. Because, like I said, there are variances of bad and good, and I will turn it off if it's bad. So I'm always thinking about how I would write it. So the girl, and I should say woman, the woman, she's not a caterer. Nothing wrong with those professions, but they use them all the time.
Oh yeah.
She is not something in the arts, which
not a party planner.
Exactly. Not there are a lot of event planners, and I guess they make a nice amount of money. She's none of that stuff. Which, you know, this one where she was a surgeon, I was like, pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, she was a real person job.
I know. Usually if they dare have them be a doctor, it's like a pediatrician or something. But no, she was a full-on surgeon. Yeah, I know, or something where it's like, oh, but you need your people skills because you're a woman. So you know, she's gonna have a solid, you know, scientifically based job, and she's actually not gonna want to have anything to do romantically with anybody. Which they've actually had a few lately that haven't really been so.
You couldn't do that on the Hallmark Channel.
That's the whole point, isn't it?
They had one recently. They have had some. They call them family dramas, where it's not. It's more, you know, about the family dynamic. So
reconcile with mom and dad before they die. Yeah.
Yeah, and they have one recently where they were a married couple, which I liked because you don't see that often, and they were happily married too. I was like, go on, okay, that's different. So I'll tell you what, if there is a love interest, he has to change for her because she has high standards, and he realizes that he is not doing what he needs to do for her. But then again, you know what? She doesn't like people to assume that she's going to fall to their every wish just because they make some changes. And she's like, no. And she says no at the end, and she goes on with her great job and her great life. That's my version. They haven't hired me yet, so I don't know why.
When you need an agent, let me know.
Okay.
So Misty, what about you? What's your great holiday tale?
I've been sitting here kind of thinking, and it would be, I'm thinking Babylon 5. And there was an episode of Babylon 5 in the first season. I don't remember the title of it. Forgive me for that. But it's when everybody has come to the station to celebrate all the different faiths throughout the universe that they know of. And the people of Earth are having to go, Sinclair is having to present the faiths of Earth in some way. And so he ends up gathering all the Earthers he can find who represent their different faiths and introducing them to everybody else. And it's very sweet. But it's like, instead of that, maybe we could have a Babylon 5 episode where they're faced with that event again, but instead, but at the same time, Santa shows up because he's this interdimensional being that can be all places and in all cultures. And so everybody from all the alien cultures, including Earth, starts seeing their version of Santa and starts talking, and there's going to be presents because we've seen Santa, or we've seen the great Starman, or whatever it is. But he would be running around making everybody all excited for their holidays, because it's all their version of Santa, and he'd be all different dressed, and every kind of alien culture would have him, and it'd just be silly. So
I love that idea. I love that idea. I think that's awesome.
Well, they are making a new version of, they're rebooting
it.
Babylon 5. Yeah. So if somebody knows J. Michael, let him know.
and he is handling the creative control for the reboot.
He is, and I would be delighted to discuss this with him. So.
I'll get right on that because we're tight.
I think he's active on Twitter or something. So
is he?
Hit him up. Hit him up. You never know.
You never know.
See, I would almost like to see the taking combined, because one of the things that I realize, this will be a shocker, I loathe malls to start with, much less during the holiday season. But I would love to see one that is a crossover between like Night at the Museum and, happening in a mall. However, what happens is the next day they don't snap back. They start harassing all the shoppers. That's the one I want to see. Maybe have it become a Day of the Dead. But if you're bitten by the plastic Rudolph, then you become a zombie. I
like it.
Nobody ever said it had to be a coherent story. It's the holidays.
Well, and if they use one of the malls that's been shut for like 20 years, there may be tetanus too.
That's right. God knows what they can find. God bless us, everyone.
Are there still malls out there? Are there?
There's like one indoor left in Jacksonville. One that's still used, that's still active.
There are 2 or 3 in Charlotte. So
again, I'm not leaving my house if I can help it. I'm going back to the top of my hill.
I've never been a mall. I mean, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't say never. I used to love going to the mall. Long ago, when my son was little, I'd put him in his stroller and we'd go up to the mall. But now it's just, I've gotten to where the crowds are too much and I just can't handle it. And I really haven't been to a mall since the before times. So and I don't miss it. I like them delivering things to my porch.
Amazon changed a lot.
Wow. But
well, since we're kind of coming up on time here, so let's go make our way around and let everybody know where they can find you, website, social media, how to come and harass you, what kind of Christmas holiday stuff you may have out there, because of course it's coming to be that time, and I'm certain everybody here is happy to ship signed books as well, because I know Jenny will in a heartbeat. So we'll kind of work in reverse order this time. So Lola, where can everybody find you?
My website, which is kind of not the greatest website. I paid $45 for one of those programs that you make a website in, and it was worth $45 and no more. So I want to, one day I'll do Google Sites and transfer it over. That's a plan. So that's LolaLariscy.com. I'm on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm inside my head, outside my head, upside down, the other way around, all that.
Jenny?
www.ginikoch.com. Like everything else, yes, my website is getting an overhaul, but it's going very, very slowly. But most of the information is still up there. I'm on Facebook far more than I should be. And I am on Twitter and I am on Pinterest, and I am avoiding, it looks like I'm on Instagram, but I'm really not. So please stop sending me messages. I keep getting these, you have 15 messages. I'm like, I will never see them. So you would like to message me. That is what Facebook Messenger is for. So I'm on all of those things. And yes, I'm happy to ship books. Do you know, just let me speak for all of us, books are among the easiest things to wrap.
And you can get them personalized.
You can.
Which is just that extra touch.
It is.
It'll say, "Dear Reader."
Yeah.
It'll be stamped, "Dear Reader."
At times I'm tempted, but nope. We go that extra mile and sign every single one.
That's good.
Because you are a giver.
I am. Thank you for recognizing. That.
A giver with shipping and handling. So
Right. Yes. Yeah. I don't give the shipping and handling. Yeah,
not 100% giver. You know, a little bit of a taker too.
No. You know, mama's got to eat.
In the spirit of the season, shipping and handling is extra. So,
yeah.
Misty?
Well, as I mentioned, you can find me on the Calamity Jane's podcast, which is a sister podcast to the Authors and Dragons. If you just want to know about me all by my little self, it's mistymassey.com. And you can find me on Facebook and on Twitter. I'm a little bit more politically active on Twitter, so just be prepared for that kind of thing. If that's what you don't want to hear about, then don't look for me on Twitter. But I'm cheerful and friendly on Facebook all the time. And you can, like Ginny said, you can message me there and I'll see it faster than anything else.
And I'm Jim Nettles, and you can find me at jamespnettles.com, authoressentials.net, authoressentialsworkshops.com, of course, here at Continual. I do show up some on Facebook and Instagram, and occasionally in that hive of scum and villainy that is Twitter. And so happy Life Day, everyone. And we will see you again soon. Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.